Guys, welcome. What is good? How are you going and flowing? Are you excited for today and whatever the hell we might be doing? Because I don't think I'm gonna title this one. This is gonna be one of the mysterious SDHOs because... And the wonderful thing that I really do love about you guys is that it seems like you actually are more interested to watch the SDHOs that don't have a title versus the ones that do. Although there are certain titles, like certain topics in Ableton, it does seem like you do want to watch. Like, I guess you guys are, people really like follow actions. Like that is my one video that's really getting a lot of views and drawing people to the channel. So hope you is all doing well. Why am I not titling this one? You might say, well, I don't know, maybe it's because you're just gonna hang out and design some sounds. No, in fact, if I wanted to title it, because I wanted everyone to know, I would say, well, we're gonna do pitch modulation. Yes, you might say, well, if you know you're going to focus on pitch modulation, why not just title it pitch modulation? Maybe I'm all busy and stuff, and I don't know what to do, and maybe I would love to know that, you know, this hour-long SDHO is going to be about to post pitch modulation. Maybe I would want to know that. No, you don't, because I'm just joking around. We'll get into things. Because someone might be like, man, I like watching that guy talk about stuff, but I don't care about pitch modulation. It's like, well, we're going to get into things that, you know, probably you might not know about. And there's a really good reason for this. And yeah, I'm wearing the robe because it's getting colder out here. But now I feel stuffy and like, I kind of want to take the robe off, but like I'm all situated in electronics land. So maybe I'll keep going. Who knows? I don't know.
I just want to say I went over to Gemini's NFT page over on OpenSea, and I just want to say that I bought a few of these NFTs to support this young man you may not know. In addition to loving his Ableton, he is also a 3D computer graphics artist. Yeah, that's all the thumbnails made by that wonderful Gemini guy. Although he doesn't actually refer to himself as Gemini, but you should go over there and help this man out. It is verifiable, so if you want to own SDHO 59, it will say you own a blockchain, have that, because you have that NFT and a lot of other goodies, as you will see. Follow me, let's go to the SDHO show. Wonderful.
So why pitch modulation? Good question. So, as I've shared with you many times over since I've been doing this, and you probably already know, when you are designing sound and you've got these envelopes, you've got these LFOs, they're really only influencing three properties at its most fundamental. So think about this envelope. And what it's trying to say is, what will these three fundamental properties of this sound do over time? And there's really only three. Don't think about audio effects and think, oh, well, I can modulate the reverb over time. Yeah, but we're just talking about the most base components of sound: volume, pitch, and timbre. When you think timbre, think harmonics, because the unique makeup of the harmonics will give this sound its unique timbre. Here's a way to look at it. So let's pretend your friend was on a piano, and let's pretend you had a trumpet in your hand, and I said, play an A note at I believe the A note resonates at 50 hertz, 100 hertz, 200 hertz, play it at the one that's at 100 hertz, right? You're both playing the same pitch, A, that A at 100 hertz. But the harmonics that make up all of the different harmonics, the harmonics of that A note will be different for the piano, different for the trumpet. So the timbre, so even though it's playing the same note, but the timbre is different on both. That's what you get with these harmonics. So like you could play an A note at 100 hertz on a subtractive synthesizer like Ableton's analog, subtractive synthesizer, or use operator, FM synthesizer, whatever you want to use, even though you would play the same note, the same pitch, A at 100 hertz. This is ridiculous. I'm getting too hot up until gonna have to undress on camera here. Hey mate, what is you doing? I did not sign up for the OnlyFans. This is mental. Stop taking off your clothes on the stream. I come to you for the Ableton, not for that pornography. This is ridiculous. This is not wonderful. Dude, I'm just hot. Chill out. Chill out or something. Static electricity didn't snap out the recording. I'm trying to record all these streams here. What is going on up on Chia? Why do I feel all dried out and stuff? It's because we're getting cold, you know? It's November 1st today. I wonder when this gets uploaded. I have no idea, but I've been making a lot of these again. I'm getting really excited. Really excited. In fact, part of the reason why I think I wore the robe, even though I'm not that cold, I was like, I don't want them to see my shirt that I'm wearing today. Bodybuilding. It's like, what does this guy have to do? So you know how I'm like into all this stuff? Well, like when I was a younger lad, I was like really insecure, and so like I was like a bodybuilder dude. Like I channeled all of my pain of like not knowing, like feeling like a loser and an outcast in high school and stuff, and like feeling insecure. I got like really big into not bodybuilding, but like lifting weights, and like that like carried over. And then eventually I was a bodybuilder, not like someone who like competed, that never, but like trying to be like really muscular and stuff, you know. I wasn't like into like music and art and spiritual stuff like I am right now, because I hadn't found that yet. So of course, as I'm sure a lot of young people are, you try to like find some sense of identity, find some self of comfort, find some sense of security through like your outer appearance. And then you realize that like eventually over time you perhaps do or don't realize that, you know, the physical is fleeting, you know what I mean? That's why I don't care about the clothes that I wear or anything, because I'm like concerned a lot more with my like my well-being, my mental, emotional, physical well-being, spiritual well-being, whatever. So yeah, I wasn't that cold, but like it is really cold. But like I'm also jacked up. I'm like, yeah, just put the robe on. Like that's a weird shirt to like have on camera. And I'm like, dude, whatever. Wow, you're showing your insecurities to yourself. That's probably a good thing. All the more reason why you should be. And that's probably why I'm here, because you gotta love yourself, love where you're at, love your insecurities. Be easy on yourself. Be easy to yourself. How are you doing? Before we jump into this, what is going on? How has your week been? How has your day been? Let me know. I will listen. You have this weird fear that you're gonna keep rolling over nails with your car, and you're gonna, everywhere you go, you're gonna have to keep replacing your tire and your like your mind is making you go mental because like you don't want any weird whatever. That was weird. I don't know what I'm doing. I think we need to get back into SDHO. So here's the thing, guys. So when you've got these synthesizers, and pull up any synthesizer you want, just go with the sine wave. We're going to start with the sine wave here. And I'm, of course, going to go into the audio effects and drop a spectrum, but you can drop any audio metering device that you want. And I'm going to start with the sine wave. I'm not going to change it at all. And I'm going to hit note. Wonderful. I'm just going to take the transpose down a little bit. So right now this is the pitch. There's nothing else. There's no harmonics, it's just pitch. But if I added level B and added some FM to it, look what happens. So right now, I'm altering the harmonics over time. Okay. Right now, it's nothing. Now I could modulate the volume over time, and I'll do that right now. Notice how this is the volume of what I'm playing, and watch how it goes down when I lower the volume, lower the level. Right now I'm modulating the volume. Wonderful, wonderful. Now I'm going to modulate the other component, as I've mentioned, the harmonics over time. Think of harmonics like the brightness and the dullness of it. Or whatever the opposite of brightness is. Now notice when I do this, right? Notice when I do this, this fundamental does not change. It might go up and down a little bit, that's volume, but notice how it doesn't change. It's not moving left or right. Look. Now you might say, what if they all went left and right? That would be modulating the pitch. So how would we do that? Well, for starters, we could come over here to transpose and move that while we play it. So you might say, well, hey, you're telling me that sound is composed of 3 categories, essentially the volume, the harmonics, the pitch, and that we shape them over time. What's the hitch? Why would we ever do that with pitch? Well, that's what we want to find out today, and I want to show you the most common ways you would typically alter that pitch across time, because normally you wouldn't, because it don't sound that good, it doesn't sound that fine. Let's see if we can explore all the ways that you would and the ways that you would do it to make it sound good. And here's the thing. One of them is instead of going like with like the pitch, you do it a little bit so slow that it almost gives it this like drifty feeling, which is why we got that instrument called drift, and which is what happened in a lot of these analog synthesizers, is that they did that back in the day because, they were hardware synthesizers. They had actual electronic components, electronic voltages, and they would like shift a little bit, and it gave it this like warmth. So it's like, but that there's other more nuanced things we can do. So right now we're actually going to start with just a sine wave. And before I get into the ways that you would do pitch modulation with inside the synthesizers, I want to show you a very common way that you would do pulse width modulation. I love saying pulse width modulation. That you would be doing pitch modulation, which just means you're modulating the pitch over time. One of the most basic ways, which you've probably heard of what is it called? A pitch bend, in which you would do it with like clip modulation. So if we went into here, why does it sound like there's an envelope on this? I don't even get it. It's really weird. It sounds like it's like delayed or something. Or it's like fading in, but I don't have... Oh, I do. I didn't know I did that. I was like, for some reason, it sounds like it's fading in, but I don't have any envelopes on. I did, because It's probably like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this. Okay, so anyways, getting back to it. So let's click in this clip. I'm gonna take this down, just an octave down, just because I'm playing my laptop keyboard, just because it's easier for me to do this. So let's just draw on a note, because we need a MIDI clip to do this, and then we're gonna basically talk about all the ways that you would do pitch modulation within Ableton. So let's like pick a note, any note, don't matter. All right, so I'm gonna click this, I'm gonna go le gotsu, and I'm gonna click play. And I'm gonna click stop, and then I'm gonna make this 4 bars, and then I'm gonna make sure this is still highlighted, click legato. And so we're in like MIDI note clip view, but if we click up here to envelopes, not note expression, but envelopes, I wanna click this bar up here, and I'm gonna go to MIDI control, and then pitch bend. Now pitch bend is a little bit different. You get kind of like a weird thing. Look at this, like -8,000, what? That's mental. I'm gonna click it all the way down here. It's probably too intense, and I'm gonna bring it all the way up here. Now, if we push Shift Tab to go back into the instrument view, and we're in our operetta or whatever one you are in, I'm gonna click on the master thing, and I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna see that this pitch is only at like +5, which means how much can the pitch bend go up? So it'll only go up -5 or +5 in any direction. I'm gonna put it to 12, so we get a nice 12. And here's what I'm gonna do. Now, look, listen how when I went back, it got off. Now it went into operator because it knew I did operator. If you're not that confused with clip modulation, whatever. So yeah, so like now let's click it. And this is gonna be a pitch bend. Look, it's moving left and right. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. And of course, if you wanted, you could reverse it. You already knew that. Of course you, like... Man, I don't like how it drags like this. That's what Blender's doing too. If you drag off screen, they think they're being helpful, but it drags so violently that like... And then you can do it the opposite way. Yeah, the pitch, it's going down. That's pitch modulation. Why? Because you are modulating the pitch over time. Now, we don't have to do that clip modulation to do that if we don't want to, because we can come into whatever synth we're using and we can go into where the pitch envelope is. Now in operator, because I just would prefer to use the operetta, we'll have to enable it, and I'm gonna crank this pitch envelope up, and then I'm going to put this up. This is 48 semitones up. That is 4 octaves, and I'm gonna click a note. Someone said, hey, that don't sound like the other thing you was doing. Why is you lying to me? Everyone lies to me. The government lies to me. The pharmaceutical industry lies to me. Everyone knows that. Everyone's be lying to me. Who else is lying to me? The military-industrial complexes be lying to me. Everyone lies to me. It's the only thing they care about is their money and their profits, and they're profiting off me. How come everyone just figuring this out right now? How come I be saying these things for over 10 years? That's a decade. And why is it only people understanding it now? What had to happen for you to wake up now? Why it take you so long right now? I've been feeling these things for the last 10... Oh, Jiminy, he's been going crazy lately. I better watch out for him. Okay, so anyways, why was it so short? What's this decay, silly? Let's move it out. So unless you want that kind of an effect, you're probably not going to do a whole lot of pitch modulation. But here's the thing, let's turn it off, okay? So, I don't know, let's click on LFO, and let's make sure destination A right here is enacted, and let's do a little LFO pitch modulation, right? Surely that might sound better, wouldn't it? Increase the amount. I'm gonna put the transpose back. That sounds horrible, right? That's pitch modulation for you. So why would any bloke want to do that? I don't know, because it's a free world, thank you. Or it should be. Wow, we are really getting on this tonight. Okay, so here's the thing. You might say, well, okay, that's probably why when we're doing these sound synthesis, we are more concerned with what it does to the harmonics over time. Because why would you want volume or pitch to change over time? It's not as musical. Well, it is, especially a lot more for volume, but we're focusing on pitch today. So what would be some classic use case examples of when we could use pitch modulation to have more of a pleasing or more of a utilitarian functioning for our sound capabilities and desires today? Well, there's many reasons. First of all, the first thing we did, that MIDI clip, the pitch bend, people like to do pitch bends, especially in like electronic music, dance music, whatever, you know, to build like anticipation to like the next section of the sound or section of the sound. You know, everything's building up and maybe like you know, it's raising up in pitch or whatever. Or maybe you like create music for horror films and, you know, like rising up slowly, like semitone, you know what I mean? Like it gives that like primal animalistic feel. There's reasons to do it, but there's more pleasing examples. And I'll be honest with you, with music, like I'm not trying to promote disharmony. I want harmony in the music that I be's doing. And hope you're doing well. And so first of all, percussion, much? Create your own percussion? Let's get this horrible LFO away. Let's do a basic kick drum. Oh, that sounds like a beautiful kick drum. Maybe a little bit lower would be a little bit better for me. Oh, that's got a little bit more bump in the trunk. Oh, they always said I had a whole lot of junk in the trunk. Oh, I didn't know if I should feel good or bad about that, but well, at least they're saying something about me, I should say. Now, that doesn't really sound like a kick drum. Yeah, it sounds a little bit bassy, but what would a kick drum do? Well, when you smash a kick drum, it's not just like a frequency of boom. You know, it's not just like a low frequency of boom. What it is it goes very quickly, high to low frequency, and then it causes a boonch. You gotta need a boom. You don't want boo, boo. You want boo. You know, it goes from high to low, boo, boo. So here's what you do. Get that pitch frequency back right here. No, we don't want that because it's too much decay, you silly goose. Bring it in. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Bring in decay, you... Turn off the pitch envelope. Do you want this? Do you want this? No. It even has a little click. Makes it cut through a little bit more. Now, filter. We're not going to add a filter because it's just a sine wave, but we have this wonderful filter drive. You can drop like a saturator, distortion, whatever, click it up. Wonderful. And that's another thing too, because we're playing a synth, we can like play up and down like notes. So that would be cool. Now, let's move the pitch up and get some lasers. Sounds too much like a kikitram. Let's bring out tak. And you can like just drag these around. And you can definitely go in there. You don't have to use a sine wave. You could possibly go and do a triangle wave because you like the triangles and the pyramids. Honestly, a triangle wave is really pretty much just more of a sloped square wave. Because look, it's the same thing, but just like not as sloped. But like, oh, you don't even really need it. But like, as far as everyone's concerned, it's a triangle wave when it does this. And it's really nice to be like, yo, man, let's be doing the triangle waves. Verkehrslady kommt in die Bildung. Everyone, the Verkehrslady. Everyone, stop for the Verkehrslady. Not giving any attention to that. We are moving on. We are going to keep going and flowing. So those are like some more niched areas of how you could use an envelope, so a pitch envelope, to do what you would need to do. And you can do that in any synthesizer. You're going to have an ability to sculpt the pitch over time via an envelope, a pitch envelope. You're always going to have a volume envelope, like right here. Click into shell A, not on the oscillator, click the envelope. This is the volume envelope. If I clicked filter, can't see it because we're on the filter. If you go to envelope, this is the envelope. Now, whenever you have a filter envelope, which you should have with pretty much every synth, it doesn't mean that it's going to do anything necessarily. Over here, envelope percentage, that's when, if you have nothing, you're not going to get that. But so if I put this up, still nothing happens because you would have to turn down the filter. Oh, listen, that sounds nice. Custom kick drum. And give some FM. Sounds nice. More decay. What else would you do pitch modulation for? Those were a couple examples. Now I'm going to take a break really quickly, gather my thoughts. Tell me something about Ableton that I need to know, that I need to comment on for the good of the group. Go ahead. I realize I'm talking to the collective consciousness of the SDHO. There is no such thing as time or space. All is current and present in the eternal now. Past and future don't exist. All is present and eternal in the now. Go for it. What are some obvious ways to do volume modulation? To be honest with you, the most simple way to do it, like with Ableton's audio effects and things, that was actually a quite brilliant question. Thank you, whoever or whomever, maybe multiple, sent it through. This is like a little hack. This, not the amp device, the auto pan. If you drop it and swap it, normally what it does, if you give it an amount, you got to give it an amount. See how this is like left, right, left, right. Listen. Hear it? Stereo. Yeah, that's what the auto pan does. But if we go to phase and we nork it down to 0 or 360, it then does this. Hear the volume? You can even see it over on the metering devices, right? Now, you might think, my friend, it doesn't actually sound that good, but here's the thing I want you to think about. How often, because here's the thing, when you're making these sounds in these synthesizers, here's what you need to be aware of. Oftentimes, these synthesizers, these sounds in a computer, the harmonics may change over time. The rhythm, where the notes come in might change over time. But when it plays, okay, that volume, it might start low, it might get to a point and sustain, or maybe it goes up and then it goes down and then it sustains. But like a lot of times, sounds we hear in real life, and this helps to give more realism to our sounds, assuming, you know, you are maybe out for that. How often do you hear a sound in real life where like the amount of volume is just like static the whole time? It's not, okay? So sometimes you could do a little bit of like a modulation of volume, just a little bit, so like the volume doesn't sound the same volume every time. So almost like, even if you weren't like, oh, they're doing a tiny bit of like the volume modulation. No, like it would just sound better. You would just say, all things being equal, sounds a little bit better to my ears. You know what I'm saying? So wanted to share that with you right there, and thank you for that. So let's make a code. Now I'm gonna go back into our spectrum. What is this spectrum? I don't even know why I would even say that. They're alphabetically. Whatever. No, not the spectral resonator, which probably means we might need to get into the spectral resonator at some point. Just sine wave. Cause I want to just talk about what we just did and show it in practice. So I'm gonna drop a code. Ouch! Why did that sound weird? Why did that sound like it was clipping? So what would you do? Well, you couldn't even do filter frequency. Listen, you couldn't even do filter modulation because there's no harmonics. This is just a pitch here at C3 over at, it's not D sharp. Actually, it is D sharp because I'm playing a C minor triad, and then the G. Now, if we did any filter, wrong, that is not frequency modulation. Why? Because the filter is just attenuating the frequencies, right? So if we had more of a robust thing, you turn all the way down, it'll attenuate everything. But it doesn't mean that it's playing with the harmonics. So why did I say that? Why? Because if we go back to our sine wave, we realize that there's only one thing you could do, because the filter wouldn't do anything to that. But what it would do if you modulated the volume, same damn thing, as you know. And if we wanted to modulate the pitch, we would make sure that we went to the LFO of this synth and we enacted destination A. But that doesn't sound very good. Here's why. When pitch gets modulated like that, it's too annoying. Like imagine a siren going off like, it's horrible. So you might say, well, you showed me practical examples of how I would do pitch modulation to make very true to day, true to form, relevant examples. What about like another practical example? Well, how about this? Why don't we go into A, and because we are just geeking out over triangles, because we just like to talk about triangles, you know, because like sacred geometry and like, you know, we're hearing about, you know, we love our sacred geometry. Okay, so how would I make this sound somewhat interesting from a pitch modulation perspective? Well, I would come back to this LFO. I would tell it to chill, so I would take this amount down. I would take the rate down because it's too fast. You might say, that doesn't sound like anything. Well, let's turn it off. Let's turn it off and listen to it. Let's turn it off and listen to it. They're just going to play. They're just going to play now. What sounds more interesting, this? Or this? Let's turn it on. Can hardly hear it, just moving a little bit, just a little bit more interesting. Maybe a little bit too much. Okay, ready? Nothing, because the amount's down. Nothing, a little bit. There's just a little bit more going on, a little bit more going on. Makes it more interesting. That's another way you can use pitch modulation. Wonderful. So, you might be asking, can you hear Chunky snoring? Ist gut. He's a good boy. Smash it like if you like the chunky. Smash it like if you got a dog. Smash it like if you got a cat. Smash it like if you got a salamander. Smash it like if you like it like that. What's going on? So, how would you do the pitch? How would you do the pitch modulation outside of the synthesizer realm in Ableton using an audio effect? How would you do it? How would you do it? Well, you would use a device that is quite new. Actually, it's not quite new. Actually, it used to be called something else in earlier versions of Ableton. Did you even know that? Mate, how does you know so much about Ableton? Is you like from Berlin working over at the Ableton corporation? Is they paying you an Ableton coin? You know, that cryptocurrency, I think I might want to get some from Ableton. Actually, there's no cryptocurrency of Ableton. I actually like messed around and I was like, you know, they should have one of those where you get paid an Ableton coin for the amount of time you use Ableton. Hey mate, why would they pay you in the Ableton coin for the amount of time that you be using the Ableton? Certainly they gotta get something in return. Well, if you agreed to let them monitor your Ableton usage, they would give you their coin, their crypto token coin. That would be funny. That would be funny. Actually, I bet you there's actually quite a few great reasons why maybe that would be a good idea for them to consider. Who knows? Maybe I could be the ambassador of that. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so what is the device that I'm looking for here today that I was just alluding to that I forgot? Where are we going? I was like, oh, there's an audio effect I want to call to your attention because it was called something else. Take your time. Take your time. No. Shifter. So Shifter is new for Ableton Live 11. It actually used to be called Frequency Shifter. Smash a like if you remember the old device called Frequency Shifter. It basically never got used. Pretty much the only, I don't want to say only, if you talk in absolutes, you'll get weird YouTube people coming after you. Which is why my channel is very small, and I love it because I don't have weirdos on here. So it used to be called Frequency Shifter. It was really good for shifting the pitches of like drums or any samples up by hertz. But like, so what they did for 1111 or Ableton Live 1111, do you ever see 1111? Smash like if you see 1111 a whole lot. Anyways, so they said, what if we just created a new device? Because like there was no Ableton audio effect that allowed you to like modulate pitch. And so what they did is they created a new device called Shifter, which allowed you to shift the fine tuning, the hertz of it, but then it allowed you to, actually, excuse me, sorry, no, fine tuning. So see over here, you got pitch. It was just frequency and ring modulation. So it allowed you to do ring modulation. I won't get into ring modulation. It's kind of crazy. Oh, that's crazy. It makes me sound like I'm in a horror movie or some shit. That sounds good. Yo, he's doing a ring modulation. I'm coming from another planet. I'm getting off at the conversation. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so anyways, so like what this shifter did is it basically said we're gonna keep the frequency, the ring modulation, but pitch. Let you shift anything down, but then come in here and give an amount. So what did you guys think? What did you guys think? Because at the end of the day, when you're designing your sounds, you know what envelopes are. You know what they do to the important characteristics of the sound, the volume, the pitch, the harmonics. Also, you could timbre, the timbre harmonics, basically the same thing. Basically, harmonics and how they evolve and do their thing over time is fundamental to these different synthesis methods that we played with over the last 4 or 5 SDHOs. Volume. Well, some sounds you want max volume to no volume, and it creates a boonch. And that's what you would have when you would be doing more of a percussion, more of a, rhythmic sound, right? But then maybe you have a sustained sound, a drone, a sound texture, and just having it not be static volume just gives it more life. It sounds more real. It sounds like it's breathing. It sounds more organic. Pitch. The third one, maybe that's a little bit different. Maybe that's a little bit more of a dark horse. Maybe we want to be a little more nuanced with it, which is what I was hoping to show you today. But maybe we could use it in even more practical ways, like with a traditional envelope. Go from high pitch to low pitch really quick and give it a punch. You could take any sample. Maybe you like a percussion sample, a snare sample, but it just doesn't have any punch. Here's punch. This is no punch. Boo, 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 boo. Here's punch. Boo, 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 boo. That's the punch. And then maybe you need lasers. So it's going. Or the opposite. Or just like horrible horror movie sound of. Or like horrible, like horror movie sound. It's like. And you're like, oh my God, that person, get out of the room, get out of the building now. You know what I mean? Like. Stop playing with me emotions. You're screwing up my energetic and mental vibrational frequencies. Why is you trying to keep me in the lower dimensional frequencies? Is that because when you keep me in the lower dimensional frequencies, you make me feel fear and then you could control me and tell me what to do and I'd be listening to you because you control humans with fear? We've already figured that out. Your reign over this planet is over. Stop trying to make us fight against each other, because when we fight against each other, we don't realize that someone else, the true puppet master, is behind the scenes trying to control. But you already knew that. You already know what's going on. How are you doing? How are you dealing with the ascension? How are you dealing with the ascent to the golden age? We is done. I hope you enjoyed all of that, taking a look at the pulse with modulation. Actually, there might be one more. Actually, you know what? I think there is one more. Actually, you know what? There's probably lots more, but there's one more that I need to do because mitt i trekk gå til se instruments, gå til se drift. Oh, hello to you too, Chonkush. Go to chord. Or don't. I'm going to drop a chord and wonderful, 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 wonderful. Record enable. Ouch. The tiniest, 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 tiniest bit of the pitch modulation. Right down here. Just do a little bit. Ready? So I'm gonna just tap it once. So small, and listen to how it takes this, which sounds wonderful, 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 and listen to what it sounds like now. gonna give it a do a 0.1, just 0.1. Moves around a little bit. It's drifting. You can hear it drift a little bit. You can just drift. So yeah, I thought that would be interesting. I thought that would be possibly interesting. Gonna take off here in a little bit. Gonna drop a prezica. No, you gotta move it here. Ooh, I like that. Does that sound good to you? Wonderful. So like, listen, you got these styles, right? That sounds good. It's going up, it's cycling up. Maybe it's do an up down. Do you want to do some up down? Do more pitch modulation. Hey, that's too much modulation. Lower the rate, lower them hertz. By the way, if you like those little like flippy swippies, go to repitch. See how it goes onto the repitch. You go swoop swoop swoop. I'm gonna need to keep adjusting some things until I hear some things that I like, and then maybe drift off into some sort of cerebral, some sort of meditative haze, and leave you for days with perhaps some things to think about in different ways that perhaps you haven't heard before, not even trying to shut the door on anything you maybe heard or haven't heard, but just be getting in here, see what is going on. I don't even know what I'm trying to be doing here, what I'm trying to lead on. Kind of like this. Let's do another arpeggiata sound. Let's do this thumb up. Did you know about this? Have you heard about this? Have you know about this? Have you heard about this? Sometimes you can go to Z noodling. How often do you use the noodling? Take it all the way down. And then put it all the way up. Now there's another one that is a little bit new to MIDI fix, and I believe it is the Note Echo. No idea if this is gonna be good or not. start singing. I'm not so sure. I don't use it a lot, but gotta like turn. Oh, I think you turn it up. The pitch. Let's do 7 a perfect fifth. Turn down the feedback. It's kind of like grain delay. Like you have to add a pitch thing, or it doesn't do much. But listen now. Sure feels good to sure feels good to hold a microphone. I don't know. It's that sounds really good, actually. Sounds like it's massaging my brain, making me go insane in a good way. I like this. Got a weird idea. This probably will sound horrible, but whatever.